Sometimes we're working on a 3D model and our viewport makes us feel confined. In this case, I'd like to work on this pantry area back here, but I'm not quite seeing everything that I'd want to see. I'd like to see the ceiling and this cabinet all at the same time, be able to work on this freely. So I'm feeling a bit confined. There's a few things that we can do to make us work more efficiently in these tight spaces. The first method is to put pieces into groups and then on layers. My walls are part of a group and they are on a layer. So if I open my layers window, I can turn off my walls. That's helpful because I can orbit freely throughout my model without accidentally flying into one of the walls. But sometimes I need the walls in place to be able to infer to geometry that is a part of that group. So the second option is to hop back over with my walls turned on and increase my field of view. So I'll try and get as good of a view as possible, and then click on my magnifying glass icon. I can see down in the bottom right-hand corner that I have a field of view of 55 degrees. I can increase that for a wider view. So if I type 65 and then enter, my view is a little bit wider. It's kind of like a wide-angled camera, and I can continue to bump that up until I'm happy with the view. Of course, I don't want to necessarily present this with too wide of an angle because it starts to look like a weird real estate fisheye photo. So I want to make sure that I kind of keep it somewhat low, but it'll help me efficiently work within the space without accidentally bumping into a wall or something else. The third option is to take a section cut of our entire model. And to do that, I'll pop back out here to the outside of my model and I'll go to Tools, Section Plane. Now I have a plane that as I hover around my model, it's trying to ask me, where would you like this plane to be parallel with? And in this case, I'd like to collapse this wall. So I'll go ahead and click on that wall. The name of the plane isn't as important in this instance, but sometimes we have multiple planes in place and they'll need to be named. So I'll go ahead and call this Pantry. And as a symbol, I'll call it PT. Okay. Now I can click on this plane and move it backwards. Be sure to use your move tool on the outside of the plane here and not accidentally grabbing something inside of your model and moving it. Only click on the plane. Now I can click and release, and I've taken a slice right out of the wall. To turn that plane off so that I'm not seeing this gray box here, I can go to View and uncheck Section Planes. Now I can work freely within this space without that wall being in my way, but I still have access to this wall here so that I can infer to that geometry. If I'd like to turn this back off or move that section plane, I can go back to View, Section Planes, and I can use my Move tool to move that around even more, or I can turn it off by right-clicking on the plane and unchecking Active Cut. Whatever option you choose, you can set a scene to return to that view as needed.